Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Looks like you've given us a fascinating mix of sources here
Oh yeah, this is
to work with. Excerpts from the book itself, some biographical info on Coelho, and even a sneak peek at his Warrior of the Light.
an excellent selection. I think we're about to embark on a journey of self-discovery, much like the protagonist of our story today.
Exactly. So for you listening in, The Alchemist follows a young shepherd, Santiago, who journeys from Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of treasure. But,
Mm,
you know, it's more than just an adventure story, wouldn't you say?
Without a doubt, a story that delves into the very nature of dreams, purpose, and the interconnectedness of the universe.
Yeah,
A story that resonates deeply with readers from all walks of life.
for sure. All right, well, let's meet our hero then. The book opens with Santiago tending his sheep. The boy's name was Santiago. Dusk was falling as the boy arrived with his herd at an abandoned church. It's a simple, peaceful scene, yet there's a hint of restlessness, a yearning for something more.
A yearning that many of us can relate to, I think. That feeling that there's something bigger out there, a purpose waiting to be discovered.
Definitely. And that brings us to Santiago's recurring dream of finding treasure at the pyramids.
Right.
He goes to an old woman for interpretation, and she tells him it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting.
Hmm.
He's intrigued, but also skeptical.
Hmm.
Like, is this real or just a silly dream?
That skepticism is a natural human response, but it also shows that Santiago isn't naive. He wants proof, a sign before he upends his entire life.
Yeah, and that sign comes in the form of a mysterious old man, Melchizedek, the king of Salem.
Oh, wow.
He appears seemingly out of nowhere and introduces this concept of the personal legend.
Melchizedek's idea of a personal legend really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's essentially saying that each of us has a unique purpose, a calling, if you will, that's woven into the very fabric of our being.
Yeah, he actually says it's what you have always wanted to accomplish.
Right.
And he emphasizes that we all know our personal legend when we're young, but something makes us doubt it over time. I'm curious, have you ever felt that pull
Oh.
between what you're supposed to do and what you truly desire?
I believe most people have experienced that internal conflict at some point in their lives.
Yeah.
It's the tension between societal expectations, the comfort of the familiar, and the whispers of our own hearts urging us to pursue something more, something that truly aligns with our soul.
Melchizedek says something that really sticks with you, doesn't he?
He does.
When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. It's such a powerful and hopeful statement.
It suggests that we are not alone on our journey, that there's a force greater than ourselves that supports us when we align with our true purpose. But it's important to note that this doesn't mean the path will be easy. Santiago's journey is full of challenges and setbacks, just as life is for all of us.
So Melchizedek convinces Santiago to sell his sheep and set sail for Tangier to pursue his treasure. He even gives him Urim and Thummim, these mystical stones to help him read omens along the way. But wait, what are Urim and Thummim exactly? I've heard of them, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
They are mentioned in the Bible as sacred objects used by priests for divination.
Okay,
They represent a connection to the divine, a way of accessing higher wisdom and guidance.
okay.
Coelho uses them in The Alchemist to symbolize Santiago's developing intuition, his ability to listen to the whispers of the universe.
That's fascinating. It adds another layer of depth to the story. But here's the thing. Almost as soon as Santiago arrives in Tangier, he's robbed of everything.
Oh no.
He cries out, "Curse the moment I met that old man." Talk about a test of faith.
Oh yeah.
It seems like the universe is working against him, not for him.
It's a devastating blow, no doubt. But it forces Santiago to confront his own resilience. He could easily give up, wallow in self-pity. But instead, he chooses to rise to the challenge.
Yeah.
He remembers seeing a beautiful sword in the marketplace and thinks perhaps it's a sign, a clue that his journey isn't over yet.
Oh.
What do you make of this moment in this story?
I think it shows that Santiago isn't easily defeated. He's adaptable, resourceful, and even in the face of adversity, he holds onto a sliver of hope.
Hmm.
But he's still got to figure out how to survive in this foreign land with nothing to his name.
Yeah.
So he finds work with a crystal merchant in Tangier.
Oh, okay.
And this guy, he's a whole other study in dreams and desires.
Indeed. The crystal merchant has his own unfulfilled yearning,
Yeah.
a longing to go to Mecca. But he's paralyzed by fear, afraid to take the leap and actually pursue his dream.
He's stuck in a rut, clinging to familiarity.
Yeah.
But Santiago, with his youthful energy and optimism, starts to shake things up a little bit.
Oh.
He suggests building a display case,
Okay.
something the merchant had always resisted. He even comes up with this idea of serving tea in crystal glasses to attract more customers.
It's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? The crystal merchant, with his fear of change, represents a mindset many of us fall into. We become comfortable, even complacent, and the thought of venturing outside our comfort zones can be terrifying.
Totally. But then there's Santiago, who's all about embracing new experiences, pushing boundaries, and seeing the potential for growth even in the most unexpected places. And it pays off. The crystal shop starts booming.
Wow.
They're making more money than ever before.
This is where the concept of maktub, or it is written, comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
The crystal merchant uses it to express his resignation to fate, a belief that everything is predetermined.
Okay.
But Santiago seems to interpret it differently, wouldn't you say?
I think so. For Santiago, Maktub seems to be more about accepting the path unfolding before him, trusting that the universe has a plan, even if he can't see the whole picture yet.
Right. And that's a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
One interpretation implies passivity, a relinquishing of control.
Right.
The other suggests an active participation in one's own destiny, an understanding that we have a role to play in shaping our reality.
And that brings us to a pivotal moment in the story. Santiago has earned enough money to return to Spain and buy back his sheep. He could easily go back to his old life, call it a day, and consider the whole Tangier adventure a wild detour, but he doesn't.
Even with this newfound success, he feels this pull towards his personal legend, towards the pyramids and the treasure that awaits him.
Yeah.
It's a conflict many of us face, the comfort of the familiar versus the allure of the unknown.
Exactly. And it's not an easy choice.
No.
But for Santiago, the omens keep popping up, reminding him of his purpose. He sees a falcon circling overhead.
Okay.
He finds a coin in the marketplace. Even the Urim and Thummim seem to be guiding him towards his destiny.
Wow.
He can't ignore these signs, can he?
It seems his heart is leading him in a direction he can no longer deny. He's learning to trust his intuition, to see the interconnectedness of events, to believe that there's a greater force at play guiding him towards his true north.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So as Santiago sets off from Tangier, he's stepping into a whole new phase of his journey. The familiar world of the shepherd is behind him now.
Yeah.
He's truly venturing into the unknown.
And this next leg of his journey takes him across the vast and unforgiving Sahara Desert, where he'll face both physical and spiritual challenges.
It's interesting because he joins a caravan, right?
Yes.
This group of people all heading towards the same destination, but each with their own stories and motivations. It reminds me of how our lives intersect with others on the path, how we learn from one another, and how those connections shape our own individual journeys.
That's a wonderful observation. And among those he encounters is an Englishman,
Right.
who is also seeking the alchemist.
Oh.
But the Englishman's approach is very different from Santiago's.
Okay.
He's focused on knowledge, on books and theories. He tells Santiago, I don't even know what alchemy is.
It seems like the Englishman represents a more intellectual path to self-discovery, wouldn't you say? He's trying to understand the world through logic and reason.
Right.
Whereas Santiago is learning to trust his intuition, the language of omens and signs.
Precisely. And it highlights the idea that there are many paths to truth and enlightenment. There's no one right way, no single method that works for everyone.
Right.
What matters is finding the path that resonates with your own unique nature.
And speaking of unique paths,
Yeah.
Santiago also meets Fatima at an oasis along the way. He's instantly smitten, like this deep soul connection, love at first sight.
Oh, wow.
But of course it's complicated because Santiago is still on this quest to fulfill his personal legend.
It raises the question, doesn't it?
It does.
Can love and destiny coexist?
Yeah.
Must we choose one over the other? Or can they somehow complement each other, even enhance the journey?
I mean, Fatima encourages him to continue his quest. She says, if I am really a part of your dream, you'll come back one day. It's such a beautiful expression of trust and unconditional love, don't you think?
It's a testament to the power of true love to support the growth and evolution of both individuals. It's not about possession or codependency,
Right.
but about recognizing that sometimes separation is necessary for both partners to fully realize their potential.
It reminds me of the saying, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. But I wonder, would it have been so easy for Santiago to leave Fatima behind if he hadn't met the alchemist yet?
That's an intriguing question, perhaps not.
Yeah.
The alchemist represents a level of wisdom and spiritual understanding that Santiago is still seeking.
Right.
It's almost as if he needs the alchemist's guidance to fully embrace his destiny.
And the way they meet is pretty dramatic, right? Santiago has this vision
Yes.
of an attack on the oasis, which seems like a crazy mirage at first. But it turns out to be true. He warns the tribal chieftains, and I think he's some kind of lunatic.
But remember the importance of omens,
Right.
of paying attention to the signs. This vision is a critical turning point. It demonstrates Santiago's growing ability to connect with what the Englishman called the soul of the world.
Oh,
But can you explain what that means again?
Oh, yeah.
I'm still not quite clear on that concept.
You know, I was wondering about that too.
Mhm.
It sounds pretty profound, but what does it actually mean to connect with the soul of the world?
The soul of the world, as the Englishman describes it, is the life force that flows through all things,
Okay.
connecting everything and everyone in the universe.
Right.
It's the energy that animates creation, the essence of being.
Wow, that's pretty deep. So Santiago is tapping into that energy when he has his vision.
Yes,
He's somehow connecting with something bigger than himself.
exactly. And the alchemist, who appears suddenly with a sword drawn, is testing Santiago's courage,
Okay.
the quality he deems most essential for understanding the language of the world.
Okay, hold on. Now we
Yeah.
have another concept to unpack, the language of the world.
Right.
It seems like we're getting into some pretty mystical territory here.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on what the alchemist means by that?
The language of the world is not a language of words, but of signs, symbols, and omens. It's the language of intuition, of synchronicity, of the interconnectedness of all things. It's the language that Santiago is learning to understand throughout his journey.
So it's like the universe is constantly communicating with us, but we have to learn to listen,
Exactly.
to pay attention to the subtle messages and clues that are all around us.
Precisely. And the more we align ourselves with our personal legend, the more fluent we become in this language.
That's fascinating. Okay, so back to the alchemist and his test. Santiago passes, proving his willingness to face his fears and stand by his convictions. And as a reward, the alchemist agrees to guide him to the pyramids.
Wow.
But it means leaving Fatima behind, at least for now.
Right.
And that must have been heartbreaking for Santiago.
It was. But he also knows that his journey isn't over yet. He
Yes.
has to follow his heart, even if it leads him away from love, at least for a time.
And so Santiago and the alchemist set off into the vastness of the Sahara. I imagine it's a pretty intense experience, traveling with this wise, mysterious figure, learning the secrets of alchemy and the language of the world.
The desert becomes a crucible where Santiago must confront his doubts and fears, learn to listen to his heart, and ultimately surrender to the wisdom of the universe.
I wonder what it would be like to have a mentor like the alchemist.
Right.
Someone who can guide you, challenge you, and help you tap into your hidden potential. Seems like a transformative experience.
It is. And it highlights the idea that we are all capable of profound growth and transformation.
Right.
But sometimes we need a catalyst, a guide,
Yes.
to help us unlock that potential.
So what does the alchemist actually teach Santiago during their journey together? What are some of the key lessons he learns?
He teaches him to observe the desert, to listen to the silence, to find meaning in the seemingly insignificant details. He teaches him about the importance of courage, perseverance, and trusting one's intuition.
It sounds like he's learning to see the world in a whole new way, to perceive the interconnectedness of everything, the flow of energy that connects us all.
Exactly. And he's learning that the answers he seeks often lie within him. He has an inner compass, an intuitive knowing
Yeah.
that can guide him if he learns to listen.
But that doesn't mean it's easy,
Yeah.
right? I imagine there's still moments of doubt,
Oh, yeah.
moments where Santiago questions everything.
There are. In fact, as they get closer to the pyramids, Santiago's fears intensify. He starts hearing stories of people who failed to find their treasure, who died in the desert. It's almost as if the soul of the world is testing him,
Yeah.
pushing him to his limits.
It's like that final hurdle before reaching your goal. That moment where self-doubt creeps in and you have to dig deep to find the strength to keep going.
Precisely. And Santiago, remembering the words of Melchizedek and the alchemist, chooses to push through that fear.
Right.
He chooses to believe in the power of his personal legend.
That takes courage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To keep going when everything inside you is screaming, to turn back, to give up on the dream.
It does, but that's where the true test lies.
Yeah.
It's in those moments of doubt and uncertainty that we discover our true strength.
So how does Santiago ultimately overcome his fears? What helps him push through that final obstacle?
His connection with the language of the world deepens. He learns to communicate with the desert, with the wind, even with the sun.
Wow.
He starts to understand that he's not just a separate being,
Right.
but a part of something much larger, something interconnected and magical.
And that connection helps him escape danger when he and the alchemist are captured by a tribal war party, right?
Yes.
I remember that scene in the book.
Mm-hmm.
He basically summons a sandstorm to prove his connection to the soul of the world.
It's a powerful demonstration of his transformation. He's no longer just a shepherd boy following a dream.
Right.
He's tapping into a force greater than himself, a force that flows through him and connects him to the universe.
It's like he's unlocked a hidden power within himself, a power that was always there, just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. And that's the true magic of pursuing one's personal legend. It's
Right.
not just about achieving a goal,
Yeah.
but about the transformation we undergo along the way, the unlocking of our hidden potential.
But even with this newfound power, even after the alchemist shows him how to turn lead into gold at the Coptic monastery,
Right.
Santiago still hasn't found the treasure he set out to find.
Right.
He's come so far, faced so many challenges,
Yeah.
but he still feels lost.
And it's at this point that the alchemist leaves him,
Oh, wow.
reminding him one last time that when a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream. It's a beautiful act of faith on the alchemist's part.
He's essentially saying, you've got this.
Yeah.
You have everything you need to complete your journey.
Precisely. And Santiago, now alone, continues his journey, guided only by his heart and the omens he encounters along the way. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn, wouldn't you say? Oh, it really is. He ends up right back where he started, at the abandoned church in Andalusia, where he first had his dream.
And what are the odds?
It's a powerful symbol of the cyclical nature of life, the interconnectedness of all things. The journey ultimately leads him back to himself, to the place where it all began.
So he digs beneath the sycamore tree where he dreamt of the treasure and finds
Yeah.
not gold or jewels, but a chest of Spanish gold coins.
Wow.
And it dawns on him that he had been near his treasure all along.
Right.
The dream wasn't leading him to some far-off land, but back to his own roots, to the heart of his own being.
It's a beautiful reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones we overlook, the ones that are closest to home.
Yeah.
And that the journey itself, the experiences and transformations we undergo along the way, are often more valuable than the destination.
It makes you wonder if he would have appreciated the treasure as much if he hadn't gone through all those challenges, if he hadn't faced his fears and learned to listen to his heart.
That's a great point. Perhaps the journey was necessary to prepare him, to open his eyes to the true nature of treasure.
And then there's that final scene where the levanter, the wind that first whispered of adventure in faraway lands, brings him the scent of Fatima's perfume.
Oh, wow.
It's such a poetic touch, a reminder that love transcends time and distance.
It's a beautiful affirmation that everything is connected, that the universe works in mysterious ways to bring us what we need when we need it.
Okay, but here's the thing that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Coelho's own life story mirrors Santiago's journey in so many ways.
Oh, really?
He struggled for years to become a writer. His first book was barely noticed,
Oh, wow.
and his publisher actually dropped him. Can you imagine the resilience it takes to keep going after that kind of rejection?
It's a testament to the power of believing in your vision, even when others doubt you, even when the world seems to be conspiring against you.
Yeah.
Coelho could have easily given up, but he kept writing, kept trusting that his personal legend would unfold in its own time.
And it did. The Alchemist eventually became this global phenomenon, translated into over 80 languages and selling millions of copies worldwide. It's like he lived out Santiago's journey in his own life,
Right.
facing challenges, overcoming obstacles, and ultimately achieving a level of success he probably never imagined.
And in his foreword to the 25th anniversary edition, he talks about how he never lost faith in the book, even when everyone else had written it off. He knew it was his treasure, his gift to share with the world.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
To think that a book that was once rejected could go on to touch so many lives, to become a source of hope and inspiration for readers all over the world.
It speaks to the power of authenticity, of following your heart and sharing your unique gifts, even when it feels scary or uncertain.
Definitely. And, we also have a sneak peek at Koyo's Warrior of the Light.
Right.
The prologue tells this intriguing story of a boy searching for a submerged temple and its ringing bells.
Hmm.
He spends months on the beach, attuning himself to the sounds of nature, until finally he hears the bells.
It's a beautiful metaphor for the importance of quieting the mind,
Right.
of listening to our intuition, of trusting that the answers we seek will reveal themselves in their own time.
It reminds me of that line from The Alchemist, where the alchemist says, "You must understand that love never keeps a man from pursuing his personal legend. If he abandons that pursuit, it's because it wasn't true love, the love that speaks the language of the world."
Exactly. It seems that both the Alchemist and Warrior of the Light are inviting us to embark on a journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
to listen to the whispers of our hearts, and to trust that the universe will guide us towards our true purpose.
So what does this all mean for our listener? What's the takeaway from our deep dive into The Alchemist?
I think it's a call to action,
Yeah.
a call to reflect on our own dreams, our own personal legends. What are we truly passionate about? What whispers in our hearts, even if it seems impossible or impractical?
It's a reminder that the journey is just as important as the destination, that the challenges and setbacks we face are opportunities for growth and transformation.
And perhaps most importantly, it's a call to trust. To trust in ourselves, in our intuition, in the universe's ability to guide us towards our highest purpose.
As Santiago found his treasure by following his personal legend, what treasures might our listener discover on their own journey? It's something to ponder, isn't it? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into The Alchemist. Till next time.
Happy travels!